Welcome to Care More, Be Better, a podcast for people like you who care about the social impact of conscious companies and everyday heroes. Hear inspiring stories from those who put people and planet before profit and personal gain. You'll learn how you can make a difference, vote with your dollars, and get involved today. Here's your host, Corinna Bellizzi.
Welcome to Care More, Be Better, a podcast exploring the people, practices, and possibilities that help us regenerate our planet and ourselves. Today's episode is a little different. It's just you and me now. No guests, no big agenda, just a conversation about the spirit of giving as we head into Christmas and the holiday season. Unlike many of you, I finished my holiday shopping months ago. I took on this practice when my kids were little, so I wasn't impulse buying as much around the holidays. It has helped me to manage my pocketbook, my kids' expectations, and also keep the holiday season madness to, let's call it, a minimum. Now, this is supposed to be a time of joy, of generosity, connection, and let's be honest, the stress of the holidays strips away so much of that. We buy a lot of stuff. We feel pressured. We consume more, and often more than we can truly afford. But what if we could shift that story? What if giving looked less like consumption and more like connection? Less about piling presents under a tree and more about presence with one another. This episode is inspired by a conversation I had early in this show's history, back in 2021, when I connected with Stephanie Seferian. She's the author of Sustainable Minimalism and a host of a podcast of the same name. In that interview, Stephanie shared powerful ideas about intentional living, reducing waste, and giving with purpose. Today, we'll draw on that conversation as we reflect on how to celebrate while creating a more meaningful and less material and less stressful holiday season. First, let's talk about the weight of holiday consumerism. The holidays can feel like a whirlwind of expectations. My phone goes up. You're buying, you're wrapping, you're shipping, unwrapping, and weeks later, figuring out where all this stuff goes. And in my conversation with Stephanie, she talked about that moment early in motherhood when she looked around her 850 square foot apartment in Boston and felt suffocated by the sheer amount of stuff. Now, I'm reminded of George Carlin's comedic explorations of this topic. He said, other people's stuff is shit, but your shit is stuff. I always felt tickled by that. So pardon the bleeping there if you had that on your experience, but I think you'll know where I'm getting. Now, Stephanie described drowning in baby items despite good intentions. She said, quote, "I felt suffocated by all her stuff, 100 dresses," end quote. Her wake-up call wasn't about perfection. It was about peace, about reclaiming time, space, and headspace. And for many of us, the holidays can push us right into that overwhelm. So today, let's slow down together. Let's breathe a minute. Let's explore a gentler way. As I say to my son, 2 in through the nose, 4 out through the mouth. Even just doing that a few times a day can help you get through the season. Now, I'd like to talk about the 4-gift rule, or maybe even the 7-gift rule, the 12 days of Christmas giving. Let's lean into these ideas and talk about the power of limits. A lot of families are rethinking holiday gifts. They're adopting structures that reduce decision fatigue, that curb overconsumption, and bring the focus back to meaning making. The 4-gift rule is a simple framework that limits gifts to something you want, something you need, something to wear, and something to read. It introduces boundaries, but also creativity. Kids know what to expect. Parents feel less pressure. And gifts become thoughtful rather than superfluous and abundant. Then there's the 7-gift rule, a more expansive version, which often includes want, need, wear, read, experience, and something for growth. This blends the practical with emotional and developmental gifts. This one aligns beautifully with Stephanie's own family tradition. In the interview, she shared that each child receives a want, a need, a read, a share, and an experience, limiting it to 5 gifts. It wasn't rigid. It was values-based, a way to teach her kids that joy doesn't have to come with scale and quantity. She explained their 5 to 7 gift structure, saying that she wanted to work hard to eliminate plastic waste and that, quote, yesterday's it toy is tomorrow's clutter. That's the stuff she was drowning in. And what do you think about the concept of experiences over objects? If there's one theme that echoed throughout our conversation, and really in my own wants and needs, it was this: experiences outlast things. Kids will remember the cooking class with grandma, the weekend adventure you took, the movie night at a cousin's house, the museum membership that led to a year of learning. This is because shared moments create stories. Objects don't. This is also where group gifting shines. Instead of 10 small presents, the whole family might contribute toward a single big gift. That could be a trampoline, a camping trip, an annual zoo or aquarium pass, a creative workshop or class, or maybe it's a family yes day adventure. These gifts don't clutter shelves, they expand horizons. And I want to talk for a moment about some of the gifts that I've given. We are really close to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, well, within an hour. And especially when my kids were younger, we would give the family gift, basically a membership. And we would have 2 transferable passes as a result. And this meant that anytime we had friends come into town, we could gift them those 2 passes to go experience the aquarium either with us or without us. They could make it a day trip. They could enjoy the aquarium too. So it was the gift that just kept on giving. I love that about the Monterey Bay Aquarium. You could also do something like gift a wine club. I have in the basket behind me a beautiful bottle of red from the Ridge Winery, which is actually located in the town I went to high school. So for me, it has a personal connection. They're based in the mountains of Cupertino. I lived near them for a long time. And so when I give a gift of a bottle of wine from that space, I'm giving a gift from somewhere that I am endeared to. And then I can share this story with them and share the experience as I give them the gift of wine. I could even make it a wine club membership or take them on a wine tasting adventure and then gift them a wine club membership for a year. Now, this is, of course, if your pocketbook will allow it, but a gift like that is truly memorable and helps people to understand that that power of connection that you have with them extends throughout the year. I've also enjoyed doing things like art classes or gifting art classes. These are all things that are more experiential. You can pair it with perhaps some supplies for that art exploration. I recently enrolled my son in some art classes that are after school, and I also set up an art studio at our house so he has a place to come and paint or draw whenever he needs to without having to clean it up and put it away after. This enables him to engage more with the learning. And as a 10-year-old who is in public school, he may not get enough art programs really in his daily life. So giving this little extra gift enables him to enrich himself as the year goes on. Okay, now we've all heard the Christmas Carol, the 12 Days of Christmas. This is a slower tradition of gift giving. We often really forget Christmas was not supposed to end on Christmas Day. Historically, the season lasts 12 days, ending on January 6th. Gifts were simple, they were spaced out, encouraging presence with a CE on the end, not the frenzy of today's American Christmas tradition. Some families today are rediscovering that rhythm. One small gift a day, rotating who gives and who receives, and pairing each day with an act of kindness or service. It really does transform the holiday into a season, not a sprint. Taking on these more minimalist ideas are a path to meaning and memory making. They're not a path to deprivation. One of my favorite moments in my interview with Stephanie was reflecting on that And she reminded us that minimalism isn't about saying no. It's about saying yes to what really matters. She told a story of battling militant eco-friendliness. It was a passionate, compassionate reminder that pushing others rarely helps, that each of us has a different starting point, and that kindness goes further than judgment. We talked about how incrementalism can be a good thing. You get a toehold and you make another move. Progress continues with time, but it doesn't feel as overwhelming. So Stephanie's toe forward philosophy, we can each take that on as our own. One tiny change this week or this month, then move towards another change. That perspective is powerful during the holidays when emotions run high and expectations are everywhere. The season doesn't need a perfectionist makeover. We've got enough of that in our lives. It just needs purposeful redirection and sometimes thoughtful direction. So how do we integrate mindful gifting inspired by minimalism? Here are a few ways to honor the season while lightening our impact. Number 1, gift used and with confidence. Thrifted books, restored furniture, refurbished devices, and secondhand toys can be meaningful, affordable, and sustainable. New is not best if it's persistently eating up our planet's resources. Number 2, gift your time. Offer babysitting to a tired parent, cook a meal for a neighbor, plan a nature walk, create a family game night. Number 3, gift skills or creativity. Make something, write something, build something. Homemade gifts carry an emotional resonance long after store-bought ones fade. I've been making sourdough. I bring it to parties of families and friends. I brought a loaf to my new neighbor to welcome them to the neighborhood. I even used the discard and cookies that I gifted to my kids' classes. My cousin makes a phenomenal ginger marmalade, and I always look forward to receiving a jar around Christmas. My friend Heather makes pickled vegetables from vegetables she grew in her garden. The moments we share enjoying these delectable and savory treats are wonderful. They're appreciated. They're even treasured. Last year, my son even made everyone candles using our used glass yogurt jars as the holder. He tied ribbons around them and gave them to his teachers, his friends, and family members. Number 4, gift memberships and experiences. Dance class, art class, museum passes, gardening workshops. These gifts create moments and memories. They can even build skills. I'm gifting my 10-year-old art classes for 2 months in the new year. It will bridge the season between Christmas and when he picks up baseball. He'll get to explore his skills in drawing, pastels, paint, and clay. And remember, public schools just don't focus on arts as much these days, so classes like these will ensure that my kid's artistic mind gets a chance to truly develop. I even set up that art studio in our home so he can explore it on his own when he has time without having to do a full cleanup each time. Now, number 5, gift something that reduces waste. A safety razor, a compost bucket, beeswax wraps, a beloved cookbook, or a DIY kit to make things like bath bombs, cleaning supplies, or treats. These can all be a great way to connect with somebody and even offer a story. You can even make your own beeswax wraps from old shirts that has a little tear in it. You can cut them up as long as they're made of cotton and just put some beeswax on them and cure them in the oven. And before you know it, you've got some really interesting new beeswax wraps to give out. So sometimes you can use a little of your DIY to make a meaningful gift for someone that also reduces waste. And lastly, number 6, gift nothing but love. Yes, sometimes no gift at all is the most meaningful choice. I host Christmas dinner for my local family. The meal and time together are the gift. We gave up on gift giving for adults a long time ago, so we just focus on enjoying our time together and on helping our kids along. This truly is a bid for returning to the heart of the season. Generosity is one of the most beautiful traits that we have as humans. But generosity isn't the same as consumption. we overconsume. The spirit of Christmas asks us to give peace, to give presence, again with the CE, patience, play, love, and yes, sometimes also a thoughtfully chosen gift wrapped with care. But the real invitation is to reconnect with our families, our communities, our values, and with our planet. As we move through this holiday season together, I hope that you'll find space to reflect on how you give and who you want to give. Maybe one of these gift rules resonates with you. Maybe you'll try an experience gift this year. Maybe you'll trade stress for simplicity. And if you're curious to dive deeper into these ideas, I encourage you to revisit my conversation with Stephanie Seferian, which inspired so much of today's reflection. I'll link to that episode directly with show notes. As always, thank you, now and always, for being a part of this pod and this community, because together we really can do so much more. We can care more. We can be better. We can even turn the holiday season into a time of regeneration for ourselves, our relationships, and for our home planet. Happy holidays, friends. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Care More, Be Better, a podcast for social good. To make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share with your friends to help us reach more people and spread more social good.